"You're fired, Dr. Eliza Moreno. Leave your coat and badge on the table." The words sliced through the air like a blade, sharp and deliberate. In the sterile, echoing lobby of Westbridge Medical Center, patients turned their heads. Nurses paused mid-step. Phones stopped ringing. All eyes locked on the woman at the center of this public humiliation. Dr. Eliza Moreno stood motionless, her dark eyes scanning the angry face of Director Alan Brewster. For 10 years, she had worked tirelessly. As head nurse, trusted with the lives of hundreds, praised in closed rooms, but passed over when it counted. Now, she was being dragged down for the very thing she had devoted her life to, saving others. You violated protocol. Used medical equipment on a patient without insurance. No payment. No paperwork. No authorization. Brewster spat, each word laced with a venomous satisfaction. People like you need to learn their place in this institution. Those last 5 words landed harder than any formal accusation. People like you. Eliza knew exactly what that meant. In the silence that followed, she took off her coat, immaculate white, not a stain or crease in sight, and handed it to the nearest guard. "I saved a man's life," she said firmly, her voice steady even as her career crumbled. He came in bleeding and unconscious. No name, no ID, but he was dying. I did what I was trained to do. Brewster's face twisted in anger. He was a bum, a waste of resources. Eliza turned to leave, unaware that outside, 2 helicopters were already approaching her neighborhood, setting in motion events that would change everything. Security escorted Eliza through the revolving doors, their silence louder than any insult. The man walking beside her, Officer Daniels, always greeted her with a smile during her shifts. Today, he couldn't meet her eyes. "You'll regret this, Brewster," Eliza said as she stepped into the blinding daylight. "One day, you'll realize what really happened last night." "Don't count on it," Brewster barked behind her. "You just wasted our resources on a filthy nobody." But even as Eliza walked away, bruised in spirit but not broken in will, something caught her attention. Across the street, where an old man had panhandled for years without anyone caring, now stood a man in a tailored suit, speaking intently into a high-end phone. The streetlight glinted off his wristwatch, barely visible under the cuff of his designer coat. It was the same man she had dragged into surgery the night before, bloodied and barely breathing. The same man, Patricia, the blonde receptionist who never looked up from her phone, had dismissed with a bored shrug. "No insurance, no service," Patricia had said, leaning back in her chair. "That's the rule." But Eliza hadn't listened. Rules didn't apply when someone was dying. Now, standing at the edge of the parking lot, she watched the suited figure glance up at the hospital sign one last time before stepping into a waiting car. Eliza didn't know his name, but he knew hers. And what no one inside that building realized was that the man they all dismissed had the power to bring their entire world crashing down. The flashback hit her hard, like a punch to the chest. It was 10:52 p.m., near the end of her shift. The hospital lobby was nearly empty. The janitor hummed as he pushed his mop, and the night receptionist, Patricia, filed her nails, eyes fixed on her phone. Then the automatic doors swung open. The man stumbled in, barely conscious. His clothes were shredded, soaked in blood and mud. One eye swollen shut, his lips split, breathing ragged. He collapsed face first onto the tile floor. "Please," he murmured. "Help." Then silence. Everyone froze. Patricia barely looked up. No ID, no wallet. Probably high or drunk. Not our problem. Eliza rushed to his side, pressing 2 fingers to his neck. His pulse was faint, his breath shallow. Training kicked in. "He's crashing," she yelled. "Get a stretcher. We need oxygen. Call Dr. Harris. Prep emergency room 3. "No insurance," Patricia drawled. "Are you deaf?" "To hell with the rules," Eliza snapped. This man is dying! Ignoring her protests, she stabilized his airway, initiated CPR, and barked orders to anyone who would listen. The janitor dropped his mop and helped push the stretcher. A junior intern followed in stunned silence. Later, after surgery, Eliza sat by his bed for hours, watching the monitor beep. He still hadn't regained consciousness. She had no clue who he was. But her gut told her this wasn't just some accident, and she had no idea that saving him would cost her everything, and give her more than she ever dreamed. The next morning, Eliza sat in her small kitchen, a bowl of untouched oatmeal growing cold on the table. Her apartment, nestled in a quiet, aging neighborhood near Riverside Park, felt heavier than usual. Her hands trembled slightly as she scrolled through cruel comments online. Patricia had posted a smug selfie with the caption, "Rules are rules, act justice served." Most of the likes came from hospital staff. 3 missed calls from an unknown. Number blinked on her phone screen. The 4th time she picked up. "Hello? Dr. Eliza Moreno?" The voice was crisp, male, professional. "My name is Nathan Ellis. I'm the corporate counsel for Montenegro Global." She stiffened. This is about a lawsuit." "Not at all," he interrupted. "Quite the opposite. The man you treated last night is Vincent Montenegro, CEO, philanthropist, billionaire." Eliza nearly dropped her phone. "We need to speak. It's urgent. Can you meet me in an hour?" An hour later, still wearing her scrubs, but without her coat, Eliza walked into a sleek downtown cafe. Nathan Ellis, a sharply dressed black man with calm eyes, greeted her with a nod. "Thank you for coming," he said, sliding a tablet across the table. On screen was a familiar face, clean, composed, and corporate. "That's Vincent. He was hiking alone as he sometimes does to clear his mind. He took a nasty fall. No phone, no ID, just instinct and luck that he stumbled into your hospital. And I treated him," she said, almost in disbelief, "while everyone else watched." Nathan nodded. "And that act of compassion is about to change everything." In a private hospital room guarded by security, Vincent Montenegro was recovering. But he wasn't resting. With his laptop open and assistants rotating in and out of the room, Vincent barked instructions. "Pull every financial record from Westbridge. Look at patient demographics, every denial, every suspicious budget shift." His voice was quiet, but sharp. "I want Brewster's entire playbook." Nathan relayed the findings to Eliza in real time. The more they uncovered, the worse it got. Over 5 years, Westbridge Medical Center had systematically turned away over 80% of Black and Latino patients who lacked premium insurance. Each budget cut aligned perfectly with donations to local political figures, including Mayor Lester Brewster, the director's cousin. Meanwhile, Brewster was bragging at a fundraiser about profit margins. In her apartment, Eliza received a message from Officer Daniels, the security guard. "I have something you need to see." She met him in a parking garage. From a flash drive, he showed her security footage from the hospital. One clip caught Brewster's voice perfectly. "That arrogant Latina nurse? I've been waiting to fire her. She saved a bum. Perfect excuse." Daniels looked away in shame. "The system records audio. Brewster doesn't know." Eliza clutched the drive tight. "This isn't just about me anymore." Behind the scenes, Montenegro assembled a war room of attorneys, journalists, and former patients. Stories poured in, turned away for not having the right kind of coverage, lost family members, forgotten names. The storm was coming. And Eliza was at the center of it. Alan Brewster stood under crystal chandeliers at the Grand Monarch Hotel, basking in the glow of admiration. The annual Director of the Year gala was his moment. He smiled for cameras, shook hands with donors, and clinked glasses with powerful men who all wore the same smirk. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, raising his glass, "Westbridge has shown that profit and health care can live side by side. We've streamlined inefficiencies and eliminated distractions." The crowd chuckled. Patricia, now decked out in a glittery dress, whispered to a board member, "Can't believe we finally got rid of her." But what none of them knew was that the waiter serving champagne had a hidden camera stitched into his lapel. Every word, every clink of a glass was being transmitted live to a legal team in a building 3 blocks away. Nathan watched from a screen, headphones on, eyes focused. "Got him," he whispered. Across the country, journalists prepared headlines. Whistleblowers stood by, and in Vincent's hospital suite, a final upload was cued. "All set," said one of the technicians. "When do we hit play?" Vincent stared at the screen. At the height of his arrogance, at that exact moment, Brewster held up his hands again. "To another year of success!" The ballroom lights dimmed. Then the screens changed. The video feed began innocently, hospital footage, but quickly, the smiling photos dissolved into horror. First came Brewster's voice, grainy but clear. "That arrogant Latina nurse needs to learn her place." Then spreadsheets appeared, rows of denied patients, predominantly Black and Latino. Then audio clips. "Great job, Patricia. Rejected 300 patients this month. Every dollar saved goes to the bonus pool." The crowd gasped. Murmurs erupted. Then, the lights came back up. On screen appeared a clean-cut man sitting beside a hospital bed. "My name is Vincent Montenegro," the recorded voice said. "On the 12th of this month, I was denied treatment at Westbridge while unconscious and bleeding. Only one person stepped forward, Dr. Eliza Moreno. She saved my life. This hospital tried to silence her, but the truth will not be silenced." The room fell dead silent. Brewster's face turned purple. He lunged for the exit, but FBI agents blocked the doors. Agent Carter, a calm man with a badge and handcuffs, stepped forward. "Alan Brewster, you are under arrest for fraud, institutional discrimination, and embezzlement of public funds." As the cuffs clicked, Brewster turned to see Eliza entering the room, dressed in an elegant navy suit, flanked by lawyers and Vincent himself. "You did this?" Brewster growled. "No," Eliza replied coolly. "You did. I just made sure the world saw it." 6 months later, the sign above the front entrance no longer read Westbridge Medical Center. Now it said, Eliza Moreno Center for Universal Care. Inside, the sterile hallways had been replaced with warm lights and patient-centered design. No private rooms for the rich, no discrimination at intake, just care. Eliza walked through the corridors, nodding at new staff. Bilingual nurses, diverse doctors, interns from underserved communities. Where Patricia once sat, now stood Camilla Reyes, a kind young nurse who greeted every patient in English and Spanish. "Dr. Moreno," said Officer Daniels, now head of security, wearing a sharp suit. "Waiting list is up to 1-200. Word is spreading fast." Eliza smiled. "Good. That means we're doing it right." In the ER, Dr. Harris, now Chief of Emergency Medicine, approached. Another anonymous donation just came in. $5 million. She looked at the screen. The donors were former hospital sponsors, now eager to be on the right side of history. On a TV in the waiting room, a news anchor said, "The Eliza Moreno model is being adopted in 4 states. Universal access, no discrimination, a revolution. In American healthcare, in a gray federal prison 200 miles away, Alan Brewster mopped floors. The only sound was the bucket sloshing and the heavy drag of defeat. His suit was gone, his friends gone, his legacy in ruins." A guard approached. "Visitor." He looked up, surprised. At the table sat Officer Daniels in a tailored coat. "I brought you this," he said, sliding over an envelope. Inside was a photo of the new hospital. Below it, a New York Times front page, "Fired for compassion, now a national hero." Eliza's face smiled from the cover. "You could have helped her," Daniels said. "But you chose hate." Back at the Moreno Center, Eliza stepped onto a brightly lit stage. 1 year ago, I was fired for saving a man's life. Today, we are changing lives, every day, for people who once had no chance. Vincent Montenegro stood beside her. We're proud to announce a $100 million fund to replicate this model nationwide. The room erupted in applause. No, one clapped louder than her mother, sitting in the front row, tears in her eyes. Eliza had once been humiliated for doing the right thing. Now she was rewriting the future of healthcare, one patient, one life, one revolution at a time.